Welcome to News Strip Down, February 24th, 2026. It's minus 14 degrees Celsius in southwestern Manitoba. That's 6.8 degrees Fahrenheit for you guys down in the States. And let's start off in the US here with this Kuzma deal. That's up for review here. It's supposed to expire here in 2026. US wants to create their own kind of new Kuzma, while Mexico and Canada seem to be in agreement with this Kuzma deal. But what's kind of concerning is U.S. farmers, soybean farmers, I talked about this yesterday, are down 80% on exports, and now they're reconsidering going over to corn. Well, with this Kuzma deal being re-advised right now, hey James, with the Kuzma deal being re-advised right now, couldn't isn't going to be good for farmers anyways because corn is Mexico's, or sorry, Mexico is US's number one retailer of corn and is number two in soybean. So not going to help out the farmers in the long run with that, especially with tensions rising in Mexico with the new cartel, the with El Mucho there being, well, not assassinated but being killed in a shootout there in Mexico. Don't know how trade talks are going to work this new Kuzma deal. I don't know what's going to happen with Canada now. And just letting everyone know, Canadian flights to Mexico have resumed as of this morning. So flights out of Mexico for Canadians is going to be okay. As a Canadian, being down in Mexico a couple times and stuff, it's no different than walking in a downtown New York or something like that, or East Hastings in Vancouver is probably more deadly than walking in downtown Mexico. Oh, in Puerto Vallarta and in the Sinaloa area. So we'll see what happens with that. And then another thing, it's going to hit the poultry and beef market because Mexico is the leading producer, one of the major producers of beef and poultry into the U.S. So that could affect the prices at the shelves for Americans. So Americans should start waking up and paying attention to some of these deals that are being discussed and stuff right now, and start speaking up, especially the farmers. It looks like Trump is just leaning more towards like uh, industrial income and kind of leaving the farmers off to fend for themselves, which I don't know. There's a lot more farmers than there are, auto workers. So I don't know. I think the people are just gonna have to stand up and say something. And then there was also talks of the kingpin out of Canada, Ryan Wedding, may have had some involvement in the location of El Mucho or Mencho there. This is untrue. These are unsubstantiated facts. One of El Mucho's mistresses was actually working with the CIA and FBI to give up locations of where he would be. So saying because Ryan Wedding was just caught recently, but he wasn't caught, he gave up, he surrendered. So don't make it everyone think that he just gave up or that he was caught by U.S. authorities. He wasn't. He gave up, and that was probably due to coordination with one of his higher ups. I believe his name was Jesse, who has been in custody since 2023. May have talked to Ryan Wedding to bring him in, but him being captured has nothing to do with the death of the new generation cartel in Mexico. There are a lot of threats being thrown around right now. There was a Delta plane that was taken out in Mexico, and cartel members had put up an ultimatum of some demands. If not met by 5 o'clock tonight, could result in the takeover of resorts, hotels, and grocery stores by the cartel. So No, if you're an American down there in Mexico, I'd be worried. But as a Canadian, I don't think I'd be too worried. And then coming back to what I had said yesterday, this cartel going after resorts. Well, you'll know which resorts are owned by the cartels because those will be the ones that aren't getting hit. And if you know, you know. Uh, tu- tu- tu, Already did that. Lockheed Martin down in the States, speaking up on behalf of Canada here a little bit on the F-35 project, announcing that there are over 30 Canadian companies that are producing parts for these F-35As. So that's kind of good. That I think Lockheed Martin, the reason that they're kind of doing this push to kind of praise Canada for their contributions to the jets is to kind of enforce that agreement to purchase these said jets. Um, so we'll see what happens with that. And then the deal with Germany on talking about purchasing more F-35s has fell through. The German Air Force has announced that they will be planning on adding more F-35s, which they already do have. Um, so yeah, we'll see what happens with that. Okay. Uh, and then Lockheed Martin again as well. There was the deal with Germany there. Lockheed Martin's not too worried about that. I think Germany was looking into purchasing another 22 F-35s. But that's not going to be an issue for Lockheed Martin. It's not going to be money out of their pocket due to the fact that they just signed a contract with the Australian Air Force for some C-130 cargo aircraft. So that'll keep them busy for a bit there. And then Canada's still thinking about these Saab Griffin E's due to the fact that they're praised for their maintenance in Arctic climates and the lower cost of the aircraft itself. So, but what it comes down to is aircraft from Russia and China that are coming out now that kind of really put that Saab Griffin jet to kind of puts it obsolete towards stealth aircraft. So I think this is kind of why Canada is leaning towards these F-35s more. Plus, on part of the North American defense uh, strategy that they have, an agreement with the United States and Britain, I believe. Then over to Canada. This is interesting. Canada is going to meet up with ChatGPT officials due to the fact that what happened in BC there. The person in question, I'm not going to mention any names or what actually happened in BC. You probably already know already. But this such person, or whatever you want to call them, ChatGPT account was canceled due to like unsavory comments and conversations having to do with violence and pew pews and schools, and yet ChatGPT did not discuss this with Canadian authorities prior to canceling his account, which something could have been done previously due to threats through ChatGPT, but we'll see what happens here by the end of this week. Canadian officials are going to be sitting down with them, trying to figure out what kind of guidelines and response should be on their part at the end of the day, because really what it's coming down to right now, it's a little bit of authorities' fault. It's a failure of Canadian government's fault, and some AI companies that kind of just let this all fall through the cracks, which is not very savory in my views. So and yeah, There's been a lot of talk about ChatGPT and Grok across European and EU countries, at the fact that children and young youths have total free access to this, and how we could limit their access to this. We already are investing heavily in defense and R&D. Go do your research. Canada has some of the best research and defense technology out there. And if you were here earlier, Canada, there's over 30 companies that are a part of the F-35 program out of the United States. So yes, trust me, we do a lot of. And then don't forget about the Canada arm that's attached to the space station. Uh, and then here, let's talk about down in the States, RFK, Robert Kennedy there. After winning a crazy, here, just let me, he won a landmark case against Monsanto's on the use of their glysulfide chemicals, which are used in Roundup, the weed killer. Uh, the case he had won was proof that this chemical causes cancer. And now RFK has in agreement and following suit with Trump to allow companies to start producing this company or this product in more quantities than previously. So, what are you doing there, Robert Kennedy? Are you for these chemicals or are you against these chemicals? Because what you're doing right now is now you're just backtracking after winning this massive landslide, like, legal case. So, like, I don't know. Something's just not right here. Everyone's just following suit. But if you guys don't know Monsanto's, yeah, quite the quite the corporation to be dealing with. And then the fact that they pretty much own all the rights to the seeds across the world, and is a major investor in that seed bank in Switzerland, Greenland. I think it's in Greenland. Sorry, don't quote me on that. Oh, and then over to North Korea. Uh, North Korean leader Kim Jong Un is has been reelected as a 15-year rule of his power after his father's passing. And just last week, Kim Jong Un announced that his daughter was going to be his successor. Although today, during vote, his sister Kim Jong sorry, I want to get her name right. Kim Yo Jong, his sister, is now the Workers' Party Central Committee. She's the leader of the World Party Central Committee right now, which really shows who's really running the game right now. I think just the fact that Kim Jong Il announced that he was going to list his daughter as a successor, but then have his sister being a leader of this party here. Um, I really don't see his daughter being a successor, and really, I think Zhang's intent here is probably to eventually take over power from Kim Jong Il. Eventually, I don't ever see his daughter actually making it to power, just because of some of the stuff that Kim Jong Il's sister is doing in the background here. She's doing some pretty crazy stuff, and you guys can go look all that up, but I'm not going to list everything. And then today marks 4 years of the Russian invasion of Ukraine. Blah, blah, blah. I don't know how many. I don't know how. So, yeah, and then today, Canada, Canada, Japan, and pretty much all of the G7 countries have acknowledged that they will still stand behind Ukraine during this war. Talks between the two countries are doing about as good as the conversations between the U.S. and Iran. So I really don't see any of this stuff ending soon. To tell you the truth, I see a progression in things getting worse. But we'll see. I don't know. Let's cross our fingers and hope for the best. Blah blah blah. Oh, and then UK residents. This is interesting. UK residents with dual citizenship might start having some issues coming back and forth throughout the country there, due to the fact that where they could have been born. So, guys, if you're have dual citizenship in the UK and EU, it's just the UK right now, but this will probably expand into the UK as well, just because the kind of following each other's footsteps a little bit. I know the UK wanted to be more independent and felt that they were getting a little bit of a loss out of the European Union deal. So yeah, if you're traveling with dual citizenship in Britain, definitely look into what you're gonna need because there's gonna be new forms of paperwork you're gonna have to fill out, and I don't know if there's gonna be any cost to this. There was no expected costs or fees that you're gonna have to pay that I had seen, but that's gonna be interesting. So but just that's like Canada. Canada's doing multicolored passports now. If you're a Canadian British citizen, your passport is going to be red now instead of Canada's regular green. 100% James, I agree with you 100%. The war in Ukraine is way too profitable for way too many countries for that to end. And speaking of which, some Russian drones were captured by Ukrainian military to have found parts from Switzerland, a Swiss company that produces GPS units, radar units, and some other units. And now they're trying to figure. I was talking about this last week. There are still a lot of Western supplies that are building these drones and supplying weapons to Russia. So we'll see what happens there. I really don't see like these other countries be like, hey, let's stop sending them microchips so they can make drones. And I really don't do that see that ever happening. And then over to Australia again. Yeah, Australian Prime Minister was evacuated from his lodge. If you guys don't know what the lodge is, that's like the equivalent to the White House, or in the UK, what do you call it? Downing Street? Is it Downing Street in the UK? But it's the residence of the prime minister, and that was due to a bomb threat. Security forces came, inspected building, looked for any such device. Nothing was found, and the prime minister was quickly brought back into the lodge. So he's safe and sound. Nothing was really happening. 10 Downing Street. Thank you. I was right. Okay. So there's so much stuff messed up in my head here. I gotta. It's not like a filing cabinet. It's like file, 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 file. So that's pretty much it for the news today. I'll keep an eye on what's happening in Mexico. I really don't care, to tell you the truth. Canadians should be on their way home right now if they're smart. Um, but no word on any flights or anything that are going to Mexico. And so yeah, that's pretty much it. Anything else that I want to? Well, that's pretty much it. So that's it for today's news, without any other nonsense that's out there right now. So let's end with things that happened today in history. February 24th, 1942, the Battle of Los Angeles, blacking out the entire city as aircraft gun anti-aircraft guns and spotlights filled the sky in LA. This is due to the fact that when Japan invaded Hawaii, they were thinking Japan was going to be, LA was going to be the next target. And you guys go look this up. The Battle of Los Angeles. Look that up because there's some conspiracy theory stuff behind that. Maybe some alien vehicles, blah blah blah. But really, nobody knew what they were shooting at. It was just somebody seen something and they just started opening fire in the sky. It was pretty interesting. And that was 1942, February 24th, the Battle of Los Angeles. And 2008, Fidel Castro, leader of Cuba, retires due to health issues after 50 years of reign. Shout out to Justin Trudeau's dad there. Shout out. Hope you're feeling good. Just kidding. And then yeah, today, February 24th, 2022, invasion of Ukraine. Woo! Yeah. We'll be hearing about this for the next couple of years. Oh, and then famous birthdays. John Howard, born 1841 to 1914. He died at 73. He was the father of the modern submarine. Now think about that. This guy figured out the modern submarine like in the late 1800s. Unreal. Unreal. And today would be Steve Jobs' birthday. He would have been 56. He was born 1955 and passed in 2011. If you guys don't know who Steve Jobs is, Apple, he was the face of Apple for the longest time until his passing. And there's a few documentaries and movies out there about him. I'm kind of 6'7" about him. I don't know. And George Thorogood today is 76. Floyd Mayweather Jr. is 49. And Edward James Olmos, if you guys don't know who he is, he was the Emmy and Golden Globe winner for Best Supporting Actor in the show Miami Vice. Kind of Native American looking fella. Oh, South American, Mexican looking fella. Pitted face. You guys probably know who it is if you remember Miami Vice. Hey, Steve and John. So that's pretty much it for the news today, you guys. I have one last little thing here, though. The Manitoba biker gang, Los Bravos, along with Satan's Choice, is patched up again. After 25 years of being defunct, the Los Bravos are backing up and running again. I'll have more news about that tomorrow. There's a bit of a separation between the Hells Angels and the Los Bravos. People getting fed up with how the Hells Angels are being run and some of the people that they're keeping in the crew. Just unfavorable people. And people wanted to change. So they went back and repatched in the Los Bravos. So that's interesting. Deadly, I wish I had one. But I had a spliff. But anyways, I'm out of here. I'll see you guys tomorrow, 4 to 4:30 p.m. Central Time, Canadian. And yeah, we'll see what happens tomorrow. Don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe if you like the news. No drama on this channel. You're not going to find Epstein or, Prince Andrew shit, like the petty stuff or gun violence stuff I won't talk about. Or, yeah, anything violent I won't talk about. But yeah, if you guys are just fed up with the news and how the news like portrays everything right now with all their stupid little puff pieces, like half of the stuff they don't show is news. So if you come and watch this, there you go. You can go stare at the wall for the rest of the day after you watch this because everything else is BS. So see you guys tomorrow, 4 to 4:30 Canadian Central Time. I'm here Monday to Friday. So see you guys tomorrow, possibly. Okay, I'm out of here. Everyone, if I don't see you, have a good week.